What up, y'all? We up for the, you can call it a red eye flight, but we really just floating away. So, thought I'd start this Black History Month off like this. We'll creep on into it, right? I want to talk about Ayn Rand and the Atlas Shrugged. Because see, long before there was a Dr. Ben, a Dr. Clark, a Kemetic movement, a throw away your Bible, all that right there, a movement to attack Christianity by the black folks in Harlem. Oh man, before all that was one of W.D. Du Bois's partners, one of Margaret Sanger's partners, Hillary Clinton's partners, Martin Luther King's partner. She was a powerhouse. She wanted to destroy the Christian Judeo system. Boy, way worse than one of these cats today. She had an actual goddamn plan. So we're going to watch this together because I was just sitting back here doing what pit boss do. But I was like, you know what? Let me just let them in on my real whole study program, how I'll be coming around the corner with this heat rock that they can't stop. This one's for you, Shaka Utmost. This one's for you, Sarah Sitting Seti. This one's for you, Young Pharaoh. This one's for all you Kemetic heroes. Let me show you where you get your game plan from. So y'all sit back and relax. We're going to get into it. And let's start the show. So you might as well, you know, just go ahead and kick back for real, for real. Go get you a cup of water. We're going to be about 20 minutes on this one before I come back on. Make sure that you know, get in that chat box and get in that donation box and help a brother out so we can get it on. You know what I'm talking about? So we can get it on. I'm trying to fix this because y'all know if I don't do this just right, things will be black. So we're going to check out Mike Wallace interviewing Ayn Rand. Y'all know how we do it.
This is Mike Wallace with another television portrait from our gallery of colorful people. Throughout the United States, small pockets of intellectuals have become involved in a new and unusual philosophy which would seem to strike at the very roots of our society. The fountainhead of this philosophy is a novelist, Ayn Rand, whose two major works, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, have been bestsellers. We'll try to find out more about her revolutionary creed and about Miss Rand herself in just a moment. And now to our story. Down through history, various political and philosophical movements have sprung up, but most of them have died. Some, however, like democracy or communism, take hold and affect the entire world. Here in the United States, perhaps the most challenging and unusual new philosophy has been forged by a novelist, Ayn Rand. Miss Rand's point of view is still comparatively unknown in America, but if it ever did take hold, it would revolutionize our lives. And Ayn, to begin with, I wonder if I can ask you to capsulize, I know this is difficult, can I ask you to capsulize your philosophy? What is Randism?
First of all, I do not call it Randism, and I don't like that name. I call it objectivism.
All right.
Meaning a philosophy based on objective reality. Now let me explain it as briefly as I can. First, my philosophy is based on the concept that reality exists as an objective absolute. That man's mind, reason, is his means of perceiving it. And that man needs a rational morality. I am primarily the creator of a new code of morality which has so far been believed impossible, namely a morality not based on faith, not on faith, not on arbitrary whim, not on emotion, not on arbitrary edict, mystical or social, but on reason, a morality which can be proved by means of logic, which can be demonstrated to be true and necessary.
All right. All right.
Now, may I define what my morality is?
All right.
Because this is merely an introduction. My morality is based on man's life as a standard of value. And since man's mind is his basic means of survival, I hold that if man wants to live on earth and to live as a human being, he has to hold reason as an absolute, by which I mean that he has to hold reason as his only guide to action, and that he must live by the independent judgment of his own mind, that his highest moral purpose is the achievement of his own happiness, and that he must not force other people, nor accept their right to force him, that each man must live as an end in himself and follow his own rational self-interest.
May I interrupt now?
You may.
Because you put this philosophy to work in your novel Atlas Shrugged.
That's right.
You demonstrate it in human terms in your novel Atlas Shrugged. And let me start by quoting from a review of this novel Atlas Shrugged that appeared in Newsweek. It said that you are out to destroy almost every edifice in the contemporary American way of life, our Judeo-Christian religion, our modified government-regulated capitalism, our rule by the majority will. Other reviews have said that you scorn churches and the concept of God. Are these accurate criticisms?
Yes, I agree with the fact, but not the estimate of this criticism. Namely, if I am challenging the base of all these institutions, I'm challenging the moral code of altruism, the precept that man's moral duty is to live for others, that man must sacrifice himself to others, which is the present-day morality.
What do you mean by sacrifice himself for others? Now we're getting to the point.
One moment. Since I'm challenging the base, I necessarily would challenge the institutions you named, which are a result of that morality.
All right.
And now what is self-sacrifice?
Yes, what is self-sacrifice? You say that you do not like the altruism by which we live. You like a certain kind of Ayn Randist selfishness.
I would say that I don't like is too weak a word. I consider it evil. And self-sacrifice is the precept that man needs to serve others in order to justify his existence, that his moral duty is to serve others. That is what most people believe today.
Well, yes, we're taught to feel concerned for our fellow man, to feel responsible for his welfare, to feel that we are, as religious people might put it, children under God and responsible one for the other. Now, why do you rebel? What's wrong with this philosophy?
But that is what, in fact, makes man a sacrificial animal. That man must work for others, concern himself with others, or be responsible for them. That is the role of a sacrificial object. I say that man is entitled to his own happiness and that he must achieve it himself, but that he cannot demand that others give up their lives to make him happy. And nor should he wish to sacrifice himself for the happiness of others. I hold that man should have self-esteem.
And cannot man have self-esteem if he loves his fellow man? What's wrong with loving your fellow man? Christ, every important moral leader in man's history, has taught us that we should love one another. Why, then, is this kind of love, in your mind, immoral?
It is immoral if it is a love placed above oneself. It is more than immoral, it's impossible. Because when you are asked to love everybody indiscriminately, that is, to love people without any standard, to love them regardless of the fact of whether they have any value or virtue, you are asked to love nobody.
But in a sense, in your book, you talk about love as if it were a business deal of some kind. Isn't the essence of love that it is above self-interest?
Well, let me make it concrete for you. What would it mean to have love above self-interest? It would mean, for instance, that a husband could tell his wife, if he were moral, according to the conventional morality, that I am marrying you just for your own sake. I have no personal interest in it, but I am so unselfish that I am marrying you only for your own good.
Well, should husbands and wives
Would any woman like that?
Should husbands and wives tally up at the end of the day and say, well, now, wait a minute. I love her if she's done enough for me today, or she loves me if I have properly performed my functions?
No, you misunderstood me. That is not how love should be treated. I agree with you that it should be treated like a business deal, but every business has to have its own terms and its own kind of currency. And in love, the currency is virtue. You love people not for what you do for them or what they do for you. You love them for the values, the virtues which they have achieved in their own character. You don't love causelessly. You don't love everybody indiscriminately. You love only those who deserve it.
And then if a man is weak or a woman is weak, then he is beyond love?
He certainly does not deserve it. He certainly is beyond. He can always correct it. Man has free will. If a man wants love, he should correct his weaknesses or his flaws, and he may deserve it. But he cannot expect the unearned, neither in love nor in money, neither in matter nor spirit.
You have lived in our world, and you recognize the fallibility of human beings. There are very few of us, then, in this world, by your standards, who are worthy of love.
Unfortunately, yes, very few. But it is open to everybody to make themselves worthy of it, and that is all that my morality offers them.
If they will
a way to make themselves worthy of love, although that's not the primary motive.
Let's move ahead. How does your philosophy translate itself into the world of politics? Now, one of the principal achievements of this country in the past 20 years particularly, I think most people agree, is the gradual growth of social protective legislation based on the principle that we are our brother's keepers. How do you feel about the political trends of the United States, the Western world?
The way everybody feels, except more consciously. I feel that it is terrible, that you see destruction all around you, and that you are moving toward disaster until and unless all those welfare state conceptions have been reversed and rejected. It is precisely these trends which are bringing the world to disaster, because we are now moving towards complete collectivism or socialism, a system under which everybody is enslaved to everybody. And we are moving that way only because of our altruist morality.
Yes, but you say everybody is enslaved to everybody, yet this came about democratically. Free people in a free country voted for this kind of government, wanted this kind of legislation. Do you object to the democratic process?
I object to the idea that people have the right to vote on everything. The traditional American system was a system based on the idea that majority will prevail only in public or political affairs, and that it was limited by inalienable individual rights. Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him. And therefore, I do not believe that if a majority votes on any issue, that this makes the issue right. It doesn't.
All right. Then how do we arrive at action? How should we arrive at action?
By voluntary consent, voluntary cooperation of free men, unforced.
And how do our leaders arrive? How do we arrive at our leadership? Who elects? Who appoints?
The whole people elects. There's nothing wrong with the democratic process in politics. We arrive at it the way we arrived by the American Constitution as it used to be. By the constitutional process, as we had it, people elect officials, but the powers of those officials, the powers of government are strictly limited. They will have no right to initiate force or compulsion except a criminal. Those who have initiated force will be punished by force, and that is the only proper function of government. What we would not permit is the government to initiate force against people who have hurt no one, who have not forced anyone. We would not give the government or the majority or a minority the right to take the life or the property of others. That was the original American system.
When you say take the property of others, I imagine that you're talking now about taxes.
I am.
And you believe that there should be no right by the government to tax. You believe that there should be no such thing as welfare legislation, unemployment compensation, regulation during times of stress, certain kinds of rent controls and things like that.
That's right. I'm opposed to all forms of control. I am for an absolute, laissez-faire, free, unregulated economy. let me put it briefly. I'm for the separation of state and economics, just as we had separation of state and church, which led to peaceful coexistence among different religions after a period of religious wars. So the same applies to economics. If you separate the government from economics, if you do not regulate production and trade, you will have peaceful cooperation and harmony and justice among men.
You are certainly enough of a political scientist to know that certain movements spring up in reaction to other movements. The labor movement, for instance, certain social welfare legislation. This did not spring full-blown from somebody's head, out of a vacuum. This was a reaction to certain abuses that were going on. Isn't that true, Ayn?
Not always. It actually sprang up from the same source as the abuses. If by abuses you mean the legislation, which originally had been established to help industrialists, which was already a breach of complete free enterprise. If then, in reaction, labor leaders get together to initiate legislation to help labor, that is only acting on the same principle, namely, all parties agreeing that it is proper for the state to legislate in favor of one economic group or another. But what I'm saying is that nobody should have the right, neither employers nor employees, to use state compulsion and force.
But when you advocate completely unregulated economic life in which every man works for his own profit, you are asking, in a sense, for a devil-take-the hindmost, dog-eat-dog society, and one of the main reasons for the growth of government controls was to fight the robber barons, to fight laissez-faire, in which the very people whom you admire the most, the hard-headed industrialists, the successful men, perverted the use of their power. Is that not true?
No, it isn't.
Oh.
This country was made not by robber barons, but by independent men, by industrialists who succeeded on sheer ability.
And
by ability, I mean without political force, help, or compulsion. But at the same time, there were men, industrialists, who did use government power as a club to help them against competitors. They were the original collectivists. Today, the liberals believe that that same compulsion should be used against the industrialists for the sake of workers. But the basic principle there is, should there be any compulsion? And the regulations are creating robber barons. They are creating capitalists with government help, which is the worst of all economic phenomena.
I think that you will agree with me when I say that you do not have a good deal of respect for the society in which you and I currently live. You think that we're going downhill fairly fast. Now, I would like you to think about this question, and you'll have a minute intermission to ponder it, and then come back and answer it. Do you predict dictatorship and economic disaster for the United States if we continue on our present course? Do you? And we'll get Ayn Rand's answer in just a moment. And now back to our story. All right, Ayn Rand, what I'd like to know is this. Since you describe it as happening in your novel Atlas Shrugged, do you actually predict dictatorship and economic disaster for the United States?
If the present collectivist trend continues, if the present anti-reason philosophy continues, yes, that is the way the country is going. But I do not believe in historical determinism, and I do not believe that people have to go that way. Men have the free will to choose and to think. If they change their thinking, we do not have to go into dictatorship.
Yes, but how can you expect to reverse this trend when, as we've said, the country is run by majority rule through ballot, and that majority seems to prefer to vote for this modified welfare state?
Oh, I don't believe that. You know as well as I do that the majority today has no choice.
What do you mean?
The majority has never been offered a choice between controls and freedom.
How do you account for the fact that an almost overwhelming majority of the people who are regarded as our leading intellectuals and our leading industrialists, the men whom you seem to admire the most, the men with the muscle and the money, favor the modified capitalism that we have today?
Because it is an intellectual issue. Since they all believe in collectivism, they do favor it. But the majority of the people has never been given a choice. You know that both parties today are for socialism, in effect, for controls, and there is no party. There are no voices to offer an actual pro-capitalist, let's say fair, economic freedom and individualism. That is what this country needs today.
Isn't it possible that we all believe in it because we are all basically lonely people and we all understand that we are basically our brother's keepers?
You couldn't say that you really understand it because there is no way in which you could justify it. Nobody has ever given a reason why men should be their brother's keepers, and you've had every example, and you see the examples around you of men perishing by the attempt to be their brother's keepers.
You have no faith in any.
Faith?
Only in your mind.
That is not faith. That is a conviction. That is not faith. That is a conviction. Yes, I have no faith at all. I only hold convictions.
Who are you, Ayn Rand? When I say that, I would like to know just a little bit of your vital statistics. You have an accent which is
Russian.
Russian. You were born in Russia?
Yes.
Came here?
Oh, about 30 years ago.
And whence did this philosophy of yours come?
Out of my own mind, with the sole acknowledgement of a debt to Aristotle, who is the only philosopher that ever influenced me. I devised the rest of my philosophy myself.
Your parents, did they die in Russia or did they come here to the United States?
No, I came here alone, and I don't know. I have no way of finding out whether they died or not.
You are married?
Yes.
Your husband, is he an industrialist?
No, he's an artist. His name is Frank O'Connor.
And he, not the writer?
No, not the writer.
And does he live from his painting?
He's just beginning to study painting. He was a designer before.
Is he supported in his efforts by the state?
Most certainly not.
He's supported by you for the time being?
No, by his own work, actually, in the past.
Well, I know.
By me, if necessary, but that isn't quite necessary.
And there is no contradiction here in that you help him.
No, because you see, I am in love with him selfishly. It is to my own interest to help him if he ever needed it. I would not call that a sacrifice because I take selfish pleasure in it.
Let me put one specific case to you. Suppose under your system of self-sufficiency, one single corporation were to get a stranglehold on a vital product or a raw material, uranium, for instance, which might be vital for the national defense, and then would refuse to sell it to the government. Then what?
Under a free system, no one could acquire a monopoly on anything. If you look at economics and economic history, you will discover that all monopolies have been established with government help, with the help of franchises, subsidies, or any kind of government privileges. In free competition, no one could corner the market on a needed product.
Let's say there is a deposit.
History will support me.
There is a deposit of uranium in Nevada. It's the only one in the United States, and that's our only access to that. And for self-defense, we need this. Whereas, let's say, in the Soviet Union, the state is able to command that. And a kind of a strange man, strange beliefs, got hold of this uranium and said, I will not sell this uranium to my government. He should not be able to be forced by the government, according to your philosophy, to sell that uranium.
But you realize that you are setting up an impossible fantasy. That is, if you're talking of any natural resource that is vitally needed, it could not become vitally needed if it were that scarce. Not scarce to the point where one man could control all of it. So long as, I'm using your example, if a natural resource exists in more than one place in the world, no one man is going to control it.
All right, let's take another. How do we build roads, sanitation facilities, hospitals, schools? If the government is not permitted to force, if you will, by both taxation, I'll use your word, we have to depend upon the trickle-down theory, upon the noblesse oblige, the largesse.
I will answer you by asking you a question. Who pays for all those things?
We all of us pay for these things.
When you admit that you want to take money by force from someone and ask me, how are we going to build hospitals or roads? You admit that someone is producing the money, the wealth that will make those roads possible. Now you have no right to tell the man who produced the wealth in what way you want him to spend it. If you need his money, you can obtain it only by his voluntary consent.
And you believe in the eventual goodwill of all human beings, or at least that top echelon of human beings whom you believe will give willingly.
No goodwill is necessary, only self-interest.
Only
I believe in private roads, private post offices, private schools.
When industry breaks down momentarily, and there is unemployment, mass unemployment, we should not be permitted to get unemployment insurance. Social security we do not need. Will depend upon the self-interest of these enlightened industrialists whom you so admire to take care of things when the economy needs a little lubrication and there are millions of people out of work.
Study economics. A free economy will not break down. All depressions are caused by government interference. And the cure is always offered so far to take more of the poisons that cause the disaster. Depressions are not a result of a free economy.
And one last question. We only have about a half a minute. How many Randists, you don't like the word, I beg your pardon.
Objectivists.
How many objectivists would you say there are in the United States?
It's hard to estimate, but I can tell you some figures. My best intellectual heir, Nathaniel Brandon, a young psychologist, is giving a series of lectures on my philosophy in New York. He has received 600 letters of inquiry within the month of January. He's giving these lectures, and the attendance is growing in geometrical proportion.
I'm sure that you have stimulated a good many people, more people than already have, to read your book, Atlas Shrugged, and The Fountainhead, and I'm equally sure they will be stimulated for the reading, indeed, if they do not agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be back in a moment with my personal footnote to the story of Ayn Rand. As we said at the outset, if Ayn Rand's ideas were ever to take hold, they would revolutionize the world. And to those who would reject her philosophy, Miss Rand hurls this challenge. She has said, for the past 2,000 years, the world has been dominated by other philosophies. Look around you. Consider the results. We thank Ayn Rand for adding her portrait to our gallery, one of the people other people are interested in. Mike Wallace, goodbye.
All right, let's put that to bed. Let's put that one to bed. All right, let's see. Let's look in the chat real quick, see what y'all was talking about, because, you know, while we're watching that, I can't see the chat, so just read in. I see y'all just kind of rocking and rocking. Y'all making girlfriend and boyfriend in the chat room. Careful about them CRTs. They going hard, calling your boy in the emails. We be getting it. We be getting it. I'm trying to tell you, boy. There's a couple of them all over the country too, boy. Going in. Okay, let's connect some dots, because, you know, this is just laying down the groundwork. This is just laying down the groundwork. So the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn. This built the narrative of Hollywood, Illuminati effect, and their magic potion. As we know from the great Jordan Maxwell, when he expels the understanding of Hollywood, a wand that Merlin the magician, when he cast his spells, the wand was made of Hollywood. Oh yeah, we talking black magic. That's what they call it. That's what they called it long before the Kemetic movement starts shifting and double speaking. You know what I told you about that double speaking? That's when you say a word that you really don't mean what it really means. You got a different meaning for that word. double speak. So, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the German free thinkers, all this like 1880 to 1900. They was coming to America, even as far as back as 1950 in Texas with the German free thinker movement. They produce a man named Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley gets on a plane, something like that, and he traveled to Kemetic. He sees an exhibit labeled 666, exhibit number 666, where he sees a tablet long before the Kemetic movement was studying this shit. They were on it. They was practicing magic, the art of words. Y'all ever see my little thing over there? Magic is like a hand with the smoke coming up. It's the art of words. If they have a positive effect on you, they call it white magic. If it has a negative effect on you, they call it black magic. Now you got all these goddamn black Wicca groups all over the Facebook pages and all of these strange religions, sciences going in. So Aleister Crowley writes a book entitled Do What Thou Wilt, the Book of the Law. He said he had a vision, you know, a couple of deities came to him. All them Kemetics like to say, oh, you know, Aleister Crowley was a quack. He was a wacko. He was fake information. But, you know, Black Becky taught me something when we was operating. She said better learning is applied knowledge. So we can give a damn about what you're thinking, because the movements that was created from this magic, had a profound effect on us. Gave us hard rock, heavy metal music in about 10,000 songs, including the Beatles. Do What Thou Wilt. Jay-Z, Do What Thou Wilt. Over and over and over and over, the repetition of this goddamn phrase is smashing. Lately, I'm on one of them hip hop channels and the brother come out with an album, and his title of the album, he dedicate this to Aleister Crowley, Do What Thou Wilt. Shall be the whole of the goddamn law. Now, I find it strange that the Kemetic Reconstructionist movement in America formulates concepts and thoughts that are damn near identical to Ayn Rand, Margaret Sanger, Madame Blavatsky. Blavatsky, that's Russian. Just because they're Russian don't mean they're Russian. They could be Russian Jews. The Jews, man, they're some bad men. Then you have the wizard, the great wizard Aleister Crowley, and his mediums. They're all novelists. They're all English teachers. They're all literary sociologists type of stuff. But guess what? She yelling. See, she had some mix in her program. Some of that information was powerful. I was like, go ahead, and ran with your bad ass. She said, control your economics. Even a goddamn demon understand that type of shit. Control your economics. A country that produces capitalists are hard to control because they're independent. Don't you see why the other groups formulate businesses and employ themselves? They don't come to black folks for a job. The corporate world are white people who employ black people that have great jobs. That's who it is. That's the fact. That's the reality of the world that we live in. Somebody says, damn, Pit Boss, I don't know what about how magicians would make their magic wands from wood from holly trees. You don't know about that, John? Boy, you was sleeping when Jordan Maxwell was on the scene kicking that polite shit, right? All that information polite been spewed up is Jordan Maxwell. Look him up. Let me see if Pit Boss can find him, because we just doing a little studying. This the late night. I didn't even really put a title to it. I just gets busy, right? Yeah, I know where to look, because I done seen all this stuff before. I know who to look up and what video I'm looking for. I've been doing this a long time. I've been enthralled by this information for years, right? We're going to give it to you on the spot. Don't be trying to put me on the spot, John Doe. John Doe, don't you know? Don't be too near me not to hear me, John Doe. Let me see what happens.
It didn't take me very long to figure out that so much of what is going on, humans are not being told. We are not being told the real truth. And I'm going to, a couple of things in particular I want you to know, I want you to remember. Nothing in this world, nothing works the way you think it does. There's always more to the story. You hear about some marriage breaking up and the husband did this, the wife did that, and it's very obvious what happened. No, it's not obvious what happened. There's a lot more to the story you don't know. You don't know her background, her past. You don't know his past. You don't know what was going on in the family. You have no idea. So nothing is simple. This is why I have courts. So I found that nothing in this world operates the way you think it does. Banks do not loan money. Governments are not empowered to protect you. Police department is not there to serve you. Institutions of higher learning, colleges and educational institutes are not there to educate you. The entire superstructure of civilization in the Western world is a combination of brilliantly put together and planned, well-planned schemes to direct the minds of the people in such a way as to serve their masters. And I've known that for a long time. And one of the biggest tools in the hands of the masters who run this world is Hollywood. Hollywood is an incredible story. I've said this, and maybe many hearing me now have heard me say this, but I'll say it again, that the white man's establishment comes from Europe, and northern, southern, well, all four, northeast, south, and western Europe, even at the time of the Roman Empire and before, that whole section of Europe that we call the center for the white man's presence on the earth was quite literally ruled over. Ancient Europe was ruled over by a priesthood called the Druids. And the Druids were they were the ministers, the priests, the judges, the lawyers, they were the religious leaders. So there was a priesthood that dominated Europe. It still does. Europe is still a Druidic country, and America is a Druidic country. Unless you understand the Druidic system, then you're never going to figure out what's going on in America and England. But one of the most important symbols in the Druid system was a magic wand, like Merlin the magician with the magic wand, and also the orchestra leaders and conductors always have a magic wand, and you had better play to the tune of the master. He directs you to play, and he directs you to stop with the magic wand. So you're dancing to his music, okay? Magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly tree. It's made out of Hollywood. And Hollywood is a Druidic establishment. And the symbols, the words, the terms, the stories are designed. Think about it. Think about how Hollywood does what they do. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm just explaining how Hollywood works. You have, first of all, a story. So somebody has to write the story. All right, so now you've got a story. Now you have to give it to a screenwriter who's going to adapt that story, excuse me, adapt that story into a screenplay. Because you can't just tell the story, you have to design it to be a movie. Now, once you do that, then you're going to have the actors, very important actors, because you're going to need people to act the part. And so it doesn't mean that they actually have human feelings. No, they're being paid to act like they care, to act like they love someone too. It's an act. And so you're paying actors to act out the part that the screenwriters have written, and you want to make sure the actors do it just right. So you have to have a director, and he's going to direct everything you say and do the way he wants it said. Then you have, of course, the producer, and he's also subjected to the executive producer who's producing the money. And so all of this is a whole system of putting together a system of a story that tells you a story. It causes you to think in terms of what you just saw, so that people go out from the movie and think in their minds, this is the way you normally would react to a situation, the way that the guy in the movie did. And so that's why today, in the Western civilization, especially in the West, our ability to work with each other and live together as humans is so screwed up. Because we've been watching so much television and so many movies and so much silliness coming out of Hollywood, so much violence and sex and drugs and all the rest of it, that people have no idea in the world how to live anymore. They've lost their humanity.
Okay, so you're saying that in many ways, Hollywood movies and television are actually sort of doing behavior modification.
Precisely.
Do you understand? Can you understand? I do this, man. I'm not new to this. I just been true to this. The Druids. Look at Joe Cool. You know what I'm talking about. The pagans. White folks were pagans. They learned to be pagans. Romans learned to be pagans watching them Greeks be pagans. And them Greeks learned to be pagans watching them Kemetics be pagans. Don't hate me, hate the goddamn game. I didn't say it. The information said it. The primary documentation said it. Then they all lived it out. That's real. What you live out. I can just bounce around with this. I've been doing this for years. I grew up listening to all of that. You understand? If you don't know about Jordan Maxwell, when Polite came on the scene, I just seen Jordan Maxwell in blackface. But Jordan Maxwell did it better. That's all. He did. He's still alive. He over there with Alex Jones going in, still smashing. Yes, sir. This magic, they call it. This magic. No problem, John Doe. Glad you're woken up last year. Now you're here. I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? You know what I'm talking about. What you gonna do with it? I'm just bringing it to you. Now, let's get back to this magic. This Ayn Rand. This Margaret Sanger. So she writes a bomb movie. I love this movie because it tells a lot. It's called Atlas Shrugged. They made a Hollywood magician movie out of her book. Atlas Shrugged. Got a stiff business, the steel mill industry, fighting against the oil industry and the governments with their palms all over everything. It's a woman in that movie. She's playing a strong part. Y'all might want to check that out. Atlas Shrugged. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't have never knew about Ayn Rand, though. You have to go deep. You have to go deep. And so, this is before 1950 and the arrival of Dr. Ben and his history of Kemetic. It's funny. There is a connection between thought process in the Black establishment of America, right? We have this leadership. We have this leadership. This guy, Harold Cruz, down here at the bottom, he come out that leadership group of boule top dogs in the literary department. He's what you call a flipper. You know, like some of my fans from a month ago who was cheering me on. What up, Pit Boss? Smash on him. Get him, Pit. What? Pit? Kev Gills? Oh, shit. I'm going to Kev. Flippers. They flipped over, and he was one. And when he flipped, goddamn, he dropped the bomb. The failure of Black leadership. The same failure then is the same failure now, which will be the same failure in 20 years from now. Exactly the same. Because the people that they allow to be put before us during Black History Month, that's them leaders. The history they're going to tell on the Jewish networks, that's them leaders. And proud civil rights marches, that's them leaders. Of the 50s, that's them leaders. Communism, socialism, and Marxism went down in Hollywood in the 1940s by a group that they labeled the Hollywood 10. The Hollywood 10. Because it was 10 writers, awesome writers. They wrote some hell of a movies. They had an agenda, and they were socialists, communists, Marxists, and you can say they were revolutionaries. They was trying to change things. Hollywood backed up for a minute and pow, slapped them with what you call the blacklist. You get blackballed. You know what I'm talking about? President JFK's little brother, Robert Kennedy. Oh, man. He was fighting against that system. You know what happened to him? It gets deep when you study this from the white paradigm side. What the hell's going on over there? Black folks got one problem, but whites got another. When they fight against themselves, it's an intellectual verbal battle. They going at it hard. All kind of jewels. Systematically, though. Very systematically. Ain't a lot of gunplay. They just got what you call, what's that assassin that they put together? That MK Ultra type assassin. He pre-programmed. I believe one of our famous Black actors made a movie under the title, It's Gonna Come to Me, I Don't Forget Much. Stay tuned for the memory of Pit Boss. It's gonna come right back. I'm gonna think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can think of the movie. Somebody might say it before I do if they know where I'm going with this. But anyway, let's get back to this story because see, 1950, they drop a bomb. One of the Ayn Rand associate mediums by the name of Alice Bailey, which I kick a whole lot. She dropped the 10-point plan. Boom. Yeah. Dr. Ben was still just landing. He didn't get a chance to open his mouth. They dropped that book. The 10-point plan. Destroy the Jewish Judeo system. And with that power, they forced Paul Marshall and Leela Gilbert and Nina Shia to write this book. Persecuted the global assault on Christianity. Just like that. Just like that. A world war is about to consume in the spiritual realm. In the metaphysical realm, there's going to be an attack on a little bitty fake book, comic book, with a bunch of fake people in it, talking about a fake history. They about to attack that comic book. That shit is too real. Magic. The art of words. That's what you get. A global assault. Now we got to figure out a way into the black community because them damn Negroes be causing issues. Get us somebody. Boom, in comes the Kemetic community. Soon to be. They about to kick that same shit as Aleister Crowley. They about to give you some of this Wicca. Throw away that Bible. That's what they said. Stop believing in a Jesus coming back to save you. He not going to save you. The Christians are asleep. You sheeple. Hallelujah on a Sunday morning and all type of shit they kick. You understand? So the assault began right here on the land. Where the African American, we can call him black man, we can call him a Moor. I don't care what about them titles. Call me what you want. Call me a Hebrew Israelite, call me an Israelite, call me a nigger, call me a nigga, call me the homie. I don't care about the titles. I'm still talking about you. Whatever title you want to be a king, you want to be a queen, we call you that. Whatever you want to be called in Nellie Fuller style, call a person what they choose to be called. This was why they was blocking Pit Boss. They knew I was coming. They said he coming to destroy this shit. Get rid of him. Don't let him on your platform. Assimilate. Keep him out. He coming with that Bible. He got that real Pan-African. We don't want that shit. They trying to promote that Bible. They try to wrap the Bible up with Pan-Africanism. How does Pan-Africanism be associated to the Bible? This shit about black power. I did not write the goddamn history. I dug up in the books and found the mystery. Gave a revelation and I was hating. I just tuned in to the right station. Just a little bitty seed created all the creation. There's a fundamental understanding that is going on. That a comic book with a fictitious character named Jesus Christ, we need to destroy. That's what they say. So they go back into ancient wisdoms of Africa, all over this planet, looking for this understanding. They say, well, we had traditions of our own. Why would we listen to these white folks? Come on with that Jesus. You know, the Catholic Church. Then when you get one on your goddamn channel and give them the mic, this nigga sound like a cornball, crony, And I don't mean to disrespect. I just trying to tell you this knowledge will break your neck. The real is unveiled. So all of these famous white people of the 80s started just coming out the woodwork all the way back to the 60s with the great movie 1984. If you haven't watched George Orwell's 1984, I don't want to hear about no conscious community. That movie was so powerful, so powerful. When Hillary Clinton was running for office the first time against Barack Hussein Obama, she put a commercial out. Here's the scene. Bunch of people just sitting in like a movie theater with a big screen of Hillary Clinton's face. Somebody runs into the auditorium with a big hammer like Thor, and they wind it up, boom, and they let her rip at the screen to crack the screen and get rid of the goddamn programming. Well, that scene comes strictly out of George Orwell's 1984 movie, written in the 60s, released in black and white. Then in 1984, to be exact, they released it again in color, Technicolor, technical color. And they rock bombs with it. Then Bill Cooper, somewhere in 1991, 92, he dropped that pale horse on you. He had the pimps reading it. He had the gangsters reading it. He had the intellectuals reading it. He had people who couldn't read reading it. They were stuck. The pale horse gave you that Bible mixed with that Illuminati, mixed with that Satanism, mixed with that Kemetic magic. He was talking about a destruction. Then you know, in 1992, George Bush takes the stand. The real American gangster. Boy, that George Bush, boy, that gangster, boy, let me tell you. He dropped a famous speech. And he started using some of that Kemetic magic. Oh yeah, George Bush know all about it. What you talking about? And in the speech, he talks about 1,000 points of light. Double speak. 1,000 points of light. The day he dropped the speech, 1992, September the 11th. Woo, they cold as hell. Boy, they cold. They cold. They believe in perfecting their agenda. And they execute according to the stars. How else do you operate black magic if you don't understand astrology? You got to do things when your moon is descending, when your vertical is rising, when your Virgo is in Saturn. You got to do shit at the right time or the shit don't work. And they love it. They love it. See, when Alexander the Great walked up inside of Kemet for the very first time and looked at the pharaoh and said, "Sit your ass down, I'm here." He took all the magic they had. He had a first-hand account to the greatest minds in the Kemetic temples. Teach me what you know. Teach me what you know. And they got to teaching. They tried to hide it though. They were like, wait, we still with the black folks though, right? Yeah, we still with the black folk, but shit, these Greeks, man, They got a different agenda with this information. So now we see the advancement of the education and how powerful this Kemetic magic is. That's why it's so alluring to us. That's why we feel it vibrating all in us. We want that magic back. Give me back my magic. Some of them who get it are floating on the right frequency with it. But it's so strong that if you just lean a little bit, it'll snatch your goddamn ass up and you'll be pushing white supremacy and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it. It's too powerful. The highest level of consciousness in written example, fictitious or real, is Christ in the Bible. Hate it or love it, God damn it. That's the best written example of the highest form of meditation. The highest form of understanding self. If you got a better writing of an individual who operated the power of self greater than Christ, let me see it. Let me read it. Give me the book. Name me the pamphlet. Name me the article. Give me the example of anybody who is better at this information and self than Jesus Christ in the Bible. Give it to me. I ain't afraid to read it. I'm standing on a square bigger than Delaware. You understand what I'm talking about? You're not going to get this kind of information on any other conscious platforms because they are fooled by the Hollywood wand. They are pushing Wicca. Maybe they don't mean to. I just watched one of Brother Unk's videos. I still be watching. He don't call no more. After I burned down the HOK, he was hot. He was supposed to get a new car after that event. He's still on the martyr. All right. So I'm watching him. He do his routine. Black African power. He go in. And he hot about some shit. He's still talking about December 19th, 2016. He's still on it. He hot. That was supposed to be his day. They messed that shit up for him. He's been working 10 years to that day. Begged Sinetta to get on the goddamn platform. He was on a mission. He got 3,000 views live. You see my shit on 20 right now. He had 3,000 watching. Boy, he was on the edge of his seat. He was about to go for fame. All he fell into was shame. Now he's scuffling to get a couple of views on his thing. But anyway, he gives us the chronicles of Dr. Ben. He's back on the Dr. Ben and the chronicle stuff. Because see, they're a research group. They come with that primary documentation. But it has to stay in a particular body of information in order for them to be valid. It has to remain in a sector. Not that big. You know, pyramid. It's like a pyramid. It got a fitness pyramid. And then he brings out another book. He's still in the same pocket. Same books I seen 5 years ago. They still kicking history. He's still following the program, but he don't know about Ayn Rand. He ain't gonna talk about Ayn Rand because she was on that shit. She was on that, let's rock that goddamn Christian Judeo bullshit out of here. Let's get that gone. She would have loved the conscious community today. Couldn't wait to go over there and rock with them dudes. She'd be like, hell yeah, Sonetta, that Christianity is some bullshit. Get that shit out of here. She would have loved it. She would have agreed to every video she ever seen on the goddamn platform. I watched the latest. I was like, these dudes is pitiful, man. They gonna keep that agenda pushing. They don't give a damn. They gonna keep that shit pushing. That bullshit ass Bible. Gotta get it gone. They try to get people to flush out Pit Boss's paradigm a little here and a little there. I heard Dr. Esau over there with the Dagger Squad. Dagger Squad, stupid as hell, arguing with a PhD that's trying to tell these idiots that forget all of that research and just developing stuff for videos. You need to write this shit down. You need to publish that shit so we can scrutinize what you put down in writing. And they just laughing and shit like they successful. Y'all not successful. You need to put some shit in writing for real, for real. The man was trying to tell you some real shit. Put that shit in writing. All of that, you know, Aleister Crowley shit y'all be over there on. Put that shit in writing so we can scrutinize it. Then they talked about, they like to come hand me the Negro, some book by one of them black atheists. It's going to come to me. It's a famous book in the Kemetic community. Talking about W.D. Du Bois, another black atheist. Connected to Dr. Ben, another black atheist. Connected to Dr. Clark, another black atheist. Don't blame me, you know. Army Rock Squad taught me this shit. They got all the black atheists on the banner of the Facebook group. This is our heroes, niggas who don't believe in gods, in a God. And all of them dudes agree with Ayn Rand philosophy. Without speaking about Ayn Rand, though. Don't be mixing in white folks and our shit. You know, black folks deep down inside can't stand these white folks. We can kick their game, but not their name. That's how they deliver this shit. They put a black face on this shit. That's why they was blocking me. They knew I went and got William Bell. Kick that preterism. Tell them how the power was fulfilled in 70 AD. And the Battle of Armageddon got relics laying that back over there in the archaeology. There's relics of the war. There's fire and brimstone just laying on the damn ground. Look it up. Megiddo. Megiddo, they call it in Israel. Megiddo. The city of Megiddo. Shit was destroyed by something flying out the goddamn sky and tearing this shit up. The Battle of Armageddon, the one they waiting for in the Zionist Christian movement of America. You know, Creflo Dollar, he waiting on the goddamn Jesus. He waiting on fire and brimstone to come down here and blow up everything. T.D. Jakes, he waiting too. They getting all that big ass government 501c3 money. They part of the goddamn agenda, unbeknown. Because the temptation to be the king is amazingly strong. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You start giving a man too much money too fast and his head just swell up. And he stopped listening to his own consciousness. He started listening to other voices coming in his head. And all of a sudden, you can't tell him shit. Some people that I've known in my history, they were better people when they was dead broke and humble. Then they got a couple dollars and it came out. Everything that was inside, shit came out in glorified fashion. Mike Tyson was a victim of his own mind. He made $100 million in a year. Went and bought a white Bengal tiger and some other shit. Went and got a Hollywood mistress. He was at every club, everywhere. I used to party with Mike Tyson on Hollywood Boulevard, right around the corner from the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles at the Palace. Mike Tyson had a fight next week with Buck the Douglas. He in the club drinking on liquor. Got his ass knocked out, couldn't think quicker. That was my man, Mike Tyson. Damn. What up, Mike? Come get your boy, man. I'll show you how to do this, son. This shit crazy, yeah. It's crazy. We just getting started for the black. We in it. It's February now. I'm looking at the clock. I came on in with Ayn Rand. Y'all thought I was going to go with black people for Black History Month. You can't learn shit listening to black people. You got to learn shit based on who they connected to. What type of ideology that's being pushed around here. Wait till I disappoint y'all and tell y'all about the letter I got from Martin Luther King. He don't believe in the virgin birth. Damn. I hope he changed his mind before the end of time came. On that, guess what the Bible says? You don't believe this thing 100%, you're going to be $1 short on the rent. That's the business. You just got to take it, believe it, and execute it. You want a different system? Show me the example of the system you want to use, operating in the planet and putting work in with it. That's all you got to do. Show me that system somewhere operating with the people who know it best, where they slapping the shit out of this system that's running shit on a governmental level. You understand? So, it's a lot to this combination lock. It's a lot of digits to this combination lock. It goes all over the place. There was a Kemetic movement with the white folks in America long before, hold on, man. See, I'm just in the mood. I don't feel like going off. Normally, I'll be like, oh, shit, they ain't even donating to my page. They're going to get 30 minutes and I'm out. But this time, I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to show y'all what it do. Hold on. But you know, I just pulled this shit up, man. This shit's nothing to me. I've been doing this shit since long time on the grind. Y'all sure y'all want to mess with mine? Let me get my magic retina screen popping and see what we can do. All right. All of a sudden, that site don't want to pull up so fast. Let's try it. Oh, I'm gonna try to pull up some PDFs because you know when I go to the Wikipedia, y'all be acting like Wikipedia ain't popping. You know, yeah, well, Wikipedia got a lot of problems, but it's a great start point to get a joint. You understand? So I uses it all the time. I like them little links they send me to, but I'll be double checking and fact checking that shit. I got to double back on it. Sometimes I'll be realizing that they got an agenda, so they tamper with the information. What information don't they tamper with? Y'all claim that the Bible is the only book they took and tampered with, and that the Kemetic information is pure and authentic. It's amazing the credit y'all give these white folks, man. This shit is convoluted. Convoluted credit. Now, I'm gonna show you this, but this isn't not no proofreaded stuff. This is on the fly, my guy. This is on the fly, my girl. So just sit back and check the facts. As Pat Boss put it on the map. Show y'all some shit y'all don't never go look up. Till you get over here. Till you get over here, The Complete Golden Dawn System of Magic by Israel Regardi, right? So Christopher Hyatt, and it's forwarded by a PhD, right? Now, these are some people. Let's take a close look. Let's look at some shit in great detail. You know what I'm saying? Now, notice he has a circle, pendant. Let's see what side. That would be, looking at the picture, this would be the right side of his shoulder here. He got a circle, he got a little pyramid. He got his staff. He got the crown and the cross. That's not Christianity. Understand that. That's the crown and the cross. That's the same system where the Jehovah's Witness got their breakdown from, with Russell. Something Russell Tassel Russell. Sometimes I gotta go, you know. I be knowing this shit. I just know so much information that sometimes it just don't come to the top. But he was a member of a secret order called the Crown and the Cross. So he represents that on his robe, right? Now look at his hands, posture, his legs. Everything this man is doing is magic. Symbolism and magic. Magic is the art of words, symbols, numbers, these things that express information. Dr. W. Wayne Westcott. Boy, that was a bad man. He would have been there early on, right? Now look at the 3 stars. You see this star, right? He got 3 of them on his head. Don't he look like Barack Obama? Now he got the crown and the cross. He got his hand on a staff and a sword. He's like the Knights Templar. You see, they like to use Christianity as a cover float. That's why everybody always says the white man using Christianity, because they put magic on you. They want to cloak the system and make you think it's Christianity when in reality this shit's Satanism. It's a wolf in sheep clothing. This is the guy who wrote the book. Now look, he ain't got all that symbolism going on, but he's looking in a particular direction. Right? All that means something. Nothing by chance. Nothing they do is by chance. Now look at this symbol. This pyramid and that cross ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. They're letting you know it's an order. The rising sun, the cross. The cross comes out of Kemetic as well. Go ask Quasi. He'll tell you all about it. He'll tell you that cross ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. If you're a Christian, take it off. You don't even know what you're doing. The Kemetics are laughing at you. Better stop it. All right. So this is a PDF. Just type in the Complete Golden Dawn System of Magic. Hit the PDF button and you'll be on the page going into great detail like Pit Boss do. Let's just, since we ain't gonna read this whole thing, let's just read this. They got you there. Acknowledgments, a note style, a persistence of determination, a forward of the second addiction, an introduction, the volume 1, the magical alphabet. Oh yeah, volume 2, the importance of divinations. See, they talk about divinations in the E5. They talk about divinations in the Kemetic information. They talk about divinations in Europe. Ancient African traditions were operating divinations. And so did these guys. They loved that shit. They couldn't wait to get their hands on that information. Then volume 3, the core of the tradition, the basic techniques, magical fundamentals, outer order rituals and commentaries. Rituals of the RRETAC with those of the Wyatt's Fellowship. Volume 8, Other Order Rituals and Magical Doctrines. The Torah and the Eno-Chin System. Ooh-wee. Let's go down to that, volume 10. Then they get into some details. This thing is loaded with facts, loaded with information, just abundance of stuff. Well, I just want to get into some pictures because I don't feel like reading. Look, they got some Hebrew. Oh, man. See, I'll be stuck on this thing for hours, just dissecting it. Going through it, breaking it down to the last compound. Let me go back up. I had seen some pictures. I moved so fast, I don't know where they were. Logos, man. I design logos, man, and I study these logos. I be looking at stuff and be like, ooh, they got that magic in that logo. You know, no. So if you need a logo, you need to hit up Pit Boss. I give you one of these old black magic logos for $250 and not a dime less. And I need mine up front. My haters they want their money back these days. Okay, let's take a look at this cross. You know what I mean? See if we can pull it out. They got all these little wicked symbols. They got 4 points. This is an 8-pointed star you're looking at. The cross itself is 4 points, and then there's another 4 points. And if we count these little bitty points, there go 4. That's 8. Here go another. That's 12. And then 16. It just goes deeper and deeper. All these numbers mean something. Woo-wee. Now here we go. This is the Torah cards that, you know, y'all use. Now y'all say, in respect for those who follow this system, that this stuff that they be doing, this Wicca, this ain't the same as the Kemetic system. You know, okay. But they have more of an effect when they do it. So somehow they're able to twist this information and have a more profound effect than those that's using the real thing. You see this one where he upside down in the figure 4? Yeah. In the movie Hannibal Lecter, he used to leave his people stuck like that. So these are Torah cards. But they was doing this shit long before any black folks in America. Long before they had the whole system mapped out. Before they let you know about it. Then when you got it, you had to get a translation of a translation. And then you sit there and talk about the Bible like you got some pure Kemetic information out these white folks, but we didn't get no pure Bible out these white folks, if that's the way you say it came. Because y'all damn sure ain't got no access to Kemet to be writing shit down. Them stones y'all reading from pictures of stones. You ain't never seen the stone. They might have took a stone and made it look just like the real one and rearranged the words. You wouldn't know. You don't know the technology of the CIA and the systems they got. You don't know. They're 50 years ahead of you now. But y'all claiming some shit. Y'all are agreeing with this Kemetic order, this complete golden dawn system of magic. This shit go deep, 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 deep. I'm just gliding through it. I'm looking for pictures, really. So just hang in there. I could stop and start reading. Let me see. It's just too much. I don't even feel like wrapping my head around this shit right now. Oh, shit. Oh, we back. Okay. Geomancy. Woo! Notes on geomancy. Oh, man, I could just kill it. Boy, if I came out with this right now in the conscious community, they wouldn't stand a chance. the Emerald tablets. You know, they talk about the Emerald tablets like they came up with some shit. You ain't came up with nothing. This shit been written down by these white folks. Been written down, man. They been wrote this shit down. Y'all don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. You talk about you got a PhD. You ain't got no PhD if you ain't got this shit right here. Because this is the shit that they handing PhDs out, folks. Let's read this paragraph. I don't know why, you know, the ancestors just came to me and said, read that paragraph. I said, all right. What's your name, ancestor? He wouldn't give me the name. So he just left. So I'm going to read. As above, so below was the arcanum of the emerald tablets of Hermes. We are taught that the eternal ideas of God are revealed as in a picture book by the starry sphere to the eyes of those who can see. And the starry sphere is reflected in the earth, so that every spot is the reflection of some constellation or star group. And over these wonders and planets in their order, 4 great archangels keep watch and ward over the 4 quarters. From this knowledge, we see the reason for the characteristics of countries, towns, and places persisting quiet independently of the race that inhabit them. We can see why it is that ever in Rome is the imperial spirit of the denomination of material power. Rather, it was inhabited as at first by the outcast and broken men from every race, the great asylum, as it was called, and afterwards a homogeneous republic, then an empire with world dominion, then a hierarchy with well nigh a universal spiritual dominion, but always the same spirit. Or why again, the various races have to come to China, have one and all become ultra Chinese. In every case, the spirit of the place sometimes is strong enough to dominate all who come in, or in other cases to produce its own effect. Thus, we may perhaps say that all the forces behind the veil shine through can be perceived. If the prophet can catch the translate, these he can give information of high value to his brother. Obviously, to do this, he must entirely sink a obliterated. I told you I wasn't in the mood. Obliterate his own personality, for his intellect can only perceive and reason about this side of the veil. While his attention is fixed on this, he is necessarily blind to the indications of what lies behind. That wasn't all that deep. The hell you want me to read that for? All right. So let's go to the bottom real quick, because it's always pictures at the bottom for some reason. See, I knew it. This is the bottom. There's always some damn pictures at the bottom. So what we have here looks like we have a pyramid with no capstone. Now, if they rocking with the Christianity, why is it all this pyramid shit in all their books? Huh? If they using Christianity to enslave you, well, what in the hell is the Golden Dawn all about? They got 4 sides. They got the swords. They got all their symbolisms. I ain't got time to study this shit, but we can get into it if y'all want to. I just showed you where the magic at. All you got to do is act. This whole book is words, and they call it magic. Are you not entertained? So what y'all think about that? Fibonacci in the logos. Okay, I'm just reading a couple of y'all comments. See where y'all at with it. Y'all kind of quiet. Y'all like sitting back chilling like shit. Let me just let Pitt go. I'm over here drinking on my drink, speaking my speech. I'm over here Googling shit. Y'all just getting it in. I appreciate the few who come out and hang. What up, GG? Thank you, GG. So, Pit Boss, I'm at it tirelessly, right? And it feels great to really have a few people who give a damn and you know, they follow what I'm doing, and you know, they enjoy this stuff, right? I really appreciate that. And so I just get up and do it again. I still got a little bit more soap to make. Almost all of it is complete, but a few batches I did small. I wanted to see what it felt like. So I got to go out and buy a little more products tomorrow to finish out what we need to do. That will be coming for all of you soapers. You know, somebody sent me a beat, so I'm gonna make a rap and an intro for my thing, and I'm gonna promote their music. That's why I'm doing it, because they're a CRT. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you out there rolling with that black ink. I'm riding with that black ink. We getting it in. So hold on one second, because I'm reading through all this information and I'm trying to make sure I got what I wanted to get out, right? And hit y'all with that reel. So you know how we do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Uh-oh. Don't be going in just yet. Don't be going in just yet. Yeah, so y'all tell me. Y'all write some questions, man. What do y'all think about all this information? Is we hitting? Is y'all going to share this stuff with the internet world? Are y'all going to get inside their box and go on their pages and ask them some questions wherever you find these people at, and tell them what y'all got to say about this? How come y'all don't never talk about the Hermes and the Golden Dawn and Aleister Crowley? And how come y'all don't never bang on that? Since it's whack, bang on that. Why are you going in on you know, Marcus Garvey, trying to act like he was rolling with that Masonic order? He dealt with the Masonic order. They funded him. That don't mean that, you know, I could deal with that shit, boy. I could put the slices down on that. It ain't nothing. Got kids. They bringing kids out trying to destroy my shit. You're going to need better than a kid. I'm going to need your PhDs. Where are your PhDs? Want to disagree with this information? Pit Boss drop. I dare ya. I dare you to have a literary PhD and come up against to get down on some research and development. I'm going to chop that shit up. I was taught by someone. He said, listen, this shit's so potent. Don't tell them nothing about me. I said, I got it. He said, you can do it. Been knowing me for years. Watching me, I was watching him. I said, you know, I'm going to give you some secrets. I told him some shit. He was like, man, I'm going to drop it, man. Your ass is too cold. I said, well, you know, I ain't really tripping. I'm just looking for a group of people to get rich with, move to the islands and kick up some shit, sit back, drink coconut water, eat mangoes, hang out in the beach, eat real food, hang out with real people, and live life abundantly. Anybody want to do that with me? We can all go. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that hard. I hope that y'all would, get this. So I gave you, let me see if my man, he ain't in the room. Everybody ain't in the room. I see you, Firstborn 88. I'm gonna send you an email. My man send you his info. They probably gonna get with you, do some music. I see Yehuda. We got it in today. Who else? I'm not sure. Gigi, you always around, but I'm not sure who you are. I know you're down for the calls down with the team. I have a couple of friends named Gigi, and I'll be looking like that. But I've been knowing them a long time. I don't think they actually be checking me out like that. And then I see DS1. I've been laughing at some of your videos, bro. I've been having it ball. I watch everything. Y'all just don't know. I'll be sitting here with 8 YouTube channels going and a couple of websites all at the same time. I have this crazy way to listen to 8 videos at one time. If they talking crazy, I just turn the volume down real low and I turn it a little higher on the other video until one of them catch me. Then I drop them all and I tune in. And I'll be on this shit. Black Becky the Tacky. Y'all know what's happening. We getting it in. We building brands. Joe Cool, I see it. I'm just going through the chats because sometimes y'all be getting it in. K.R. Burton, brand new to the chat. Not sure what's up with you, K.R. Burton. I don't know if you're down. She was hard looking woman. Yeah, K.R. Burton. All right, little T, what it do? Living soul journey. Much love. Just going through a few of my folks I see supporting it, man. It's just a few of us. And then it's like 300 people who won't identify themselves. Them is the ones we teaching. They don't want to publicly acknowledge pit boss. They got a reputation to uphold amongst the people that support them. And so they can't publicly, get down with me. So to you hidden soldiers, much love. Hope the information gives you some utilization that you could secretly disseminate to your blind followers who don't want to identify with this real talk. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm up all night. Believe it or not, Pit Boss took a nap earlier, ran 100 miles and running. And now I'm up. I done drunk some coffee. I had the late night cup. Only reason I haven't done the morning cup, y'all, is because y'all be having me up all damn night, talking on the phone at 5 in the morning. I have someone that I'm helping them develop a magazine company. So I had to call up a CRT who actually operated a magazine for damn near 20 years and get him on the phone. And we talk all night and I'm cutting soap and I'm just, damn. When I get 10,000, I'm on my way to California, man. And I'm going to go kick back. Put some heat down on the West Coast. They don't want to see me on the West Coast. All my homies that tuned in now. Ever since I had all these issues, I had to, drop that button. Them niggas is tuning in. They're like, boy, your ass crazy as hell. Leave them niggas alone before we have to get. We having fun though. We building. And we building. So we going at it hard. So do this for me. Close your eyes. Meditate and relax your mind as we go and wind it down on the Pit Boss Show, right? And we're going to play one of our famous classics here on the Digital Pit Boss Show. And y'all know how we do it.
You used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone late night when you need love. And I know in that hotline bling, that could only mean one thing, no. And I know in that hotline bling, that could only mean one Ever since I left the city, you got a reputation for yourself now. Everybody knows and I feel left out. Girl, you got me down, you got me stressed out. Ever since I left the city, you started wearing less and going out more. Bottles of champagne on the dance floor. Hanging with some girl I've never seen before. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need me now. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I don't win that highway play. That could only mean one thing. Oh. And I don't win that holiday. That could only mean one thing. And I don't win that holiday.
Good night, my friends.